From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, a hit-and-run accident killed a Healy woman this morning and a man is in custody in connection with the incident.
Troopers say Giddy Strain was found dead at 7 a.m., but they believe the accident happened 2 hours earlier on the Chena Spur Road near Cole Street. The 56-year-old woman was biking to work and she was found close to her workplace. At 10 this morning, troopers found a pickup with front-end damage matching debris found at the scene. Now, the owner of the truck, 30-year-old Dustin Dollarhide of Healy, was arrested on charges of manslaughter, failure to report an accident, and DUI.
Some debris from the truck left on the scene, and based on information from people in the community and even a trooper that works in the community, we were able to track the suspect truck to a house. So we contacted the owner, interviewed him, and he was later taken into custody and charged with manslaughter, failed to report an accident, and DUI.
A Fairbanks man was arrested after allegedly beating and robbing a camper in the woods near Hesray Fields. 21-year-old Matthew Wendell is charged with robbery in the second degree and giving false information to an officer. The victim reported his assailants were a group of, quote, white teenage males, end quote, that were wearing bandanas over their faces, who he believed were camping in a wooded area next to him. An affidavit stated he was sucker punched in the head and while on the ground was kicked in the ribs several times, leaving him injured near his camp. They then emptied his wallet and made off with $180 and his debit card. Police say when they arrived at the camp, 5 young males were contacted and Wendell identified himself as the sole assailant in the robbery. He was arraigned in Fairbanks District Court yesterday.
Fairbanks Fire Department responded to a report of a trailer fire this afternoon at Odom Corporation on Pegger Road. Witnesses on the scene noticed that a large parked trailer had smoke pouring from the sides and phoned authorities for assistance. The interior area of the trailer was completely submerged in smoke when firefighters opened the doors. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. However, Odom employees on scene said the value of the trailer could be near $25,000 to replace if completely damaged.
There's a lot of things. I mean, when you look at it, these trailers, they have electrical wiring in them. Some of the units have refrigeration units in them. Some of them have heaters in them and stuff. And so there's a variety of things that could happen. One of the challenges that we have is that a lot of times we don't know what's in the vans. You know, particularly some of the shipping companies, they ship all kinds of things. And so until we know what's actually inside the van and what was there and what was going on, it's really hard to say what transpired.
The United States Army will be celebrating its 239th birthday this weekend. Ryan Grimes reports on activities leading up to it.
Soldiers at Fort Wainwright lined up in their platoons to do an annual run that celebrates the birth of the U.S. Army. 239 years ago, our nation's leaders established the Continental Army to help defend the United States against its adversaries. More than 2 centuries later, the United States Army has continued to defend our country with pride.
And we're fortunate here to celebrate the Army's birthday with the run here this morning. But he'd remind you that the Army's got a significant number of soldiers that'll still be serving and celebrating this weekend in harm's way. About 1,000 of which are from U.S. Army Alaska, spread between Fort Wainwright and Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson.
This morning, the soldiers were tasked with running roughly 3 miles around post. After finishing, Colonel Adam Lang cut a birthday cake with the 2 U.S. Army Alaska Soldiers of the Year.
I joined the Army for pretty much brotherhood reasons, you know. I mean, I've always been a big family guy with my family, but I've never really had a close set of friends and counterparts that I could actually call my brothers and sisters. So that's pretty much why I joined the Army. I think it's good to show recognition for something that, you know, protects our nation and does whatever it can to keep our nation safe at all costs.
So while the Army is undergoing the usual change that occurs post-conflict, as it tries to figure out how it's going to meet the new demands of the 21st century, we still need to hold true to the Army's values, to preserve our readiness, and to maintain the trust and the confidence of the American public. Just as we have done for the last 239 years, and I'm sure that we'll be asked to do the same thing for at least 239 more.
This is Ryan Grimes reporting from Fort Wainwright.
Well, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love cutting the cake that way.
They do that.
Perfect.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could run that far, though, as far as they run.
Probably not.
Happy birthday to the Army, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, when we come back, Golden Valley Electric Association has a training exercise.
Awesome. Also, it's time to start backyard barbecue. We have this summer's first installment. Stay with us.
And welcome back. If you had walked out behind the buildings at Golden Valley Electric on Illinois Street this afternoon, you would have seen a group of people huddled over an injured man. It was a training exercise being conducted for Golden Valley by the Learn to Return Survival Program. The scenario was a crashed helicopter with the injured pilot trapped upside down. GVEA employees often work out in remote areas where medical help is not readily available. This class is delayed care medicine, goes beyond the first aid. It teaches them advanced techniques for treating injured people. The training has changed a lot in the 30 years the survival company has been in business.
We are a survival training school, but whenever people ask us what survival course they should take, I always say don't take a survival course. Take a medical course first. Start out with medicine because every single survival situation is going to have a medical problem. Four-wheelers, plane crash, helicopters, drowning, it's all medical first. After that, it's keeping alive.
A local teenager is getting ready to head to Washington, D.C., where she will represent Alaska. We have more on that story, and that's Interiortainment. Sydney Graisley, who was recently crowned Miss Teen Alaska, will be heading to Washington, D.C. in representation of the state to compete in the nationwide contest Miss Teen United States. Graisley says she's gotten a lot of support from the community in preparation for her pageant.
To be able to get myself out there and just join different organizations. Like some parents sponsored me, and most businesses that are sponsoring me, they want me to represent their names and put their names out there too.
The competition lasts just under a week and consists of multiple rounds where she will be judged.
I'm getting a lot of sponsors lately and trying to represent people and just getting my name out there. First round is formal wear, and then the next day is the second round, which is bikini, and then the third day is I think another formal wear, and then that's the crowning is at the end of that day.
It's a way to not only gain recognition, but the winner can land a modeling contract and college scholarships, something that she says she's wanted to do for years. Graisley had some advice for other teens in Alaska who may want to compete.
It makes me feel good because it just makes me feel like I accomplished something. That don't let what other people say bring you down, just do what you want to do, what makes you happy.
I'm Stephanie Woodard, and that's Interiortainment.
It's time once again for our summer series of Backyard Barbecue.
Good afternoon. I'm Dan Gilson, the owner of the Charcoal Supply Company and the pitmaster for Three Dogs Barbecue Competition Barbecue Cooking Team. We've been doing the Backyard Barbecue series for about 3 years now, and one of the questions that I get from a lot of the folks that see me is, what are the tools that I like to use when I'm cooking barbecue? So today we're going to talk about a few of the things that I like to use when we're cooking, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is ash management. We have a bucket and a shovel to help take care of our ashes, because the last thing we want to do is start a forest fire. We have a stick lighter that we use to keep our fingers away from the flame. I love to use a charcoal chimney when I'm lighting my charcoal because I think it's the most efficient way to get the charcoal lit and kind of the cleanest way to get it lit. Something else that I find is important is a nice little thermometer that I can stick into the top of my grill to manage my temperatures. Then from there, I like to have a real nice long-handled brush for cleaning off my grill grates. I have a pair of welder's gloves. Use these to keep myself from getting burned. And then we get into the things that I like to use when I'm actually doing the cooking. I like to have a commercial style spatula, a nice plastic bottle to use to squirt sauces and liquids. My favorite tool probably are the tongs. I like these. They got a nice little clip on them so that they can open up, or I can close them and lock them. Then I like to have a nice silicone brush for brushing on my sauces. Probably one of the most important things I have is an instant read thermometer. This one has a really nice Three Dogs barbecue skin on it. Then some aluminum pans, aluminum foil, and last but not least, we have a fire extinguisher for safety. And this has been the first episode of the Backyard Barbecue series for this year. Welcome.
And we'll laugh and be happy at the Backyard Barbecue.
Brought to you by the Charcoal Supply Company.
I like the song at the end. I danced to it.
There was no food cooking.
I know, but he does, come back on Thursdays because he can cook anything, right?
Yeah, he can on
We've
that grill.
We've had like pies and seafood.
Yeah, absolutely,
pizza.
anything. Yeah, it was pretty good.
He does a good job.
Can't wait. All right, Joe Cook is up next with sports, and he has the result of the Gold Panthers' second baseball game of the season.
Plus a follow-up story on a former West Valley Wolfpack basketball player. Those stories are next with Joe.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your Thursday Sportscast. The Alaska Gold Panthers had their second game of the 2014 season last night in Anchorage and suffered their second loss. The Anchorage Glacier Pilots came away with a 4-2 win over the Panthers. Cameron Ponds got the win for the Pilots, throwing 6 Ks, a walk, and giving up just 1 hit in 3 innings. Nate Nolan hit 3 ribbies for the Pilots as well. Mike Whelan scored both of Alaska's runs and hit a single and a double. Scooter Bynum contributed an RBI. The Panthers have the day off, and then they will have their first home game of the season tomorrow at Groudon Memorial Park, hosting the San Francisco Seals, a non-league opponent. The opener starts a 5-day, 5-game home series with the Seals, who are 1-3. The Seals play the Anchorage Bucks tonight. Now, a follow-up story on Lajin Ashmore. If you remember last year, we profiled Ashmore, who was hard of hearing, but was a vital part of the West Valley basketball program. She is bouncing back after an injury to play internationally this summer. Here's more. Former West Valley guard Lajin Ashmore is training at the UAF SRC with former teammate Hannah Matson and former head coach Steve Kacheri, because in a couple of weeks she will be playing for Team USA's U21 team in the World Deaf Championships in Samsun, Turkey. It'll be the first time playing competitively in over a year. Ashmore redshirted at Gallaudet University, a deaf school in Washington, D.C., after suffering an MCL injury. It's been a learning experience for her.
I learned a lot checking out. It's not the best feeling, but I learned a lot. So how my teammates communicate, it's different. I mean, it's not like I went to West Valley. It's not. It's different. So I can understand better a lot of new things that I didn't know.
Well, it just shows what kind of impact she had before her injury, the fact that she was able to get recommended by her college coach to go on this prestigious USA Under-21 deaf team. And so you know that they think highly of her. And as far as what the coach wants, they want her to use her point guard skills and her offensive skills, such as being able to get to the basket, be able to create for others, be able to create her own shot, and then defensively being able to close out on the shooters.
Matson, who is coming off a freshman season with 13 starts at the University of Portland, is happy for Ashmore's opportunity and to train with her.
She's a really physical player. Like she's not afraid to get in there and just get rough, get dirty, and that kind of thing. And it's helpful for both of us because that's the way that's going to be overseas, and that's how it's going to be for me as well. And it's good to have someone that's going to get out there and get physical with you and work hard on the court.
Ashmore says the communication will be the top priority as she steps on the court for the first time for a deaf team overseas. The World Deaf Championships start July 4th through the 12th and feature teams from Mexico, Russia, Turkey, and Lithuania. And now that spring is here and the summer's just around the corner, that means the Interior will have on their running shoes. Here's an outlook for the running season for the rest of June this month. Tomorrow at West Valley High School, kids will be on the trails for the kids cross-country races at 6 starting at the West Valley soccer fields. Then this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. you have the 22nd Mosquito Meander 5K at Pioneer Park. Also this Saturday at 11 a.m. in Pioneer Park is bid pickup for the 32nd Midnight Sun Run, which is at 10 p.m. on June 21st. This Sunday, the Wickersham Dome Trail Run, the third race in the Running Club North Trail Series, is at 11 a.m. on the White Mountains Trailhead on the Elliott Highway. And if you'd like to run at night, then dawn to dusk and dusk to dawn all night run is Wednesday, June 18th, a 4-mile loop where you run from 12:47 a.m. at night to 2:58 in the morning. And on June 26th, the Jim Loftus Mile at West Valley High School, the 1-mile race, is the third race in the Flint Hills Cup, $5 to run that. June closes out with the second kids cross-country race on Friday, June 27th, and 3 races on June 28th, a busy day, the Spruce Tree Classic Sluice Box 100 and the Run from the Cops Run. We'll have more on that as those dates get closer. Now, the Eclipse Phoenix soccer programs won 2 golds and 3 silvers at the Alaska Airlines Cup tournament this past weekend, but it's been tough to get wins at the President's Cup in Morgan, California. Now, yesterday, the Eclipse and Phoenix 99 teams lost their tournament openers, but today, the Phoenix 99 boys played the Rogue Valley Timbers and came back to win 3-2. The Phoenix were down 0-2 at the half, but scored 3 unanswered goals in a 10-minute span in that second half. Cole Thomas at the 44th minute, Richard Stanton at 52, and West Valley's Rocky Schaefer at 54. The Eclipse fell to the SLO Storm out of Southern Cal 4-1. Erica Holst scored the lone goal for the Eclipse, which is also their first goal of the President's Cup. The Phoenix boys will play South LA United tomorrow, and the Eclipse girls will face Athena Red out of Northern California. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Your full weather forecast is coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, welcome back to the weather segment of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are going to say, Mike, have a good 2 days off while we go ahead and take a look at your weather. Looking at the almanac, normal high is 71 degrees, normal low is 36. Our record high in 1999, I remember the year well, 85 degrees for a record high, record low of 36 degrees in the 30s. Our daylight was 3:07 sunrise, and sunset 12:39 equals 21 hours, 30 minutes exactly. That's a gain of 4 minutes over yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we can see on the Alaska satellite imagery. Okay, see, pretty much wet all the way on the west coast and into the Alaska Bowl area, or the Anchorage Bowl area rather, and that could creep its way up here towards us toward the weekend. We're keeping an eye on that for you. Let's take a look a little bit better around the state. As you can see, rain all the way up to Barrow actually, and rain towards the what am I trying to say? Southwest, thank you. As well as Ketchikan, looking pretty nice in there, and in the interior, mostly overcast skies, temperatures in the 60s. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite and radar for the lower 48. They're also dealing with weather systems. It's that time of year where things will percolate over the Rockies and then set forth in the early afternoon, causing thunderstorms, severe storm systems moving us into the plain states and also into the northeast rather. States as well. As you can see on the eastern seaboard, plenty of systems we're dealing with, and they're going to be dealing with that for the next couple of days as well. Taking a look at this weekend, continued humid in the, I can't get my directions today, southeast actually. Let's say Florida, there we go, exactly. But along the west coast states, plenty beautiful, dry and breezy for them as well. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look to today's forecast where I can just read it right off the screen. Freezing rain for Barrow, a few showers for Nome and Fort Yukon for tomorrow's forecast. Temperatures in the 70s for Fort Yukon, so that's not too terrible. For the interior here as well, you can see a chance of storm for Fairbanks. Cloudy skies for Healy and Delta. We're still going to have temperatures in the 60s, however. Taking a look now at the southeast, rain for Juneau and increasing clouds for Ketchikan, so they were sunny today, clouds for them tomorrow. Let's take a look quickly at southwest and see what we can see. Well, rain everywhere. Bethel, Cold Bay, and Kodiak. Light rain for Bethel, but temperatures in that upper 40s to lower 50s. Taking a look into the south central areas, rain for Homer, Valdez, and in Anchorage, and that's the way it's going to be for the next couple of days. Interesting. It's just a really wet summer so far. Let's take a look at fishing conditions while we're at it. Some halibut, but nothing really big. No salmon yet in Valdez. In the Kenai River, well, it's closed to early run king salmon, but there are some rainbows around, so good luck to you if you're going to go down there. Matanuska Valley closed to salmon fishing until June 14th. All we can do is sit and wait for that to open. Okay, very good. Let's take a look at rivers and lakes. Fishing is picking up at Quartz, and Arctic grayling still being caught at Nordale Bridge, but it's only catch and release. Too bad, so sad. Thank you to Jeans and the Boat Shop for bringing us our fishing report each and every week. Taking a look at our forecast for tonight, the remainder of tonight, overnight low 44 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and as we take a look at tomorrow's forecast, 69 degrees. We might break 70 just yet, but there is chances of isolated thunderstorms. And then if we take a look at our extended forecast, temperatures will rebound by Sunday, but then dip right back down into the 60s by Monday, but it's still warm. It's nice. Look at those overnight lows, 49 to 50 degrees. That's where it's at. So any kind of activities you're doing, even if it's in the late night, still guaranteed warmth.
Yeah, and Mike Schultz did stop back in here, and he did say that for tomorrow, it's like only 20% chance of rain and isolated thunderstorms. Exactly. So he's got a golf tournament, so hopefully he's hoping that won't happen.
Yeah, it's perfect conditions for golf, actually.
Yeah, and Father's Day and the whole weekend.
Going into the weekend, sure. Yeah. And he probably should come back tomorrow and give me a little skills test again because I couldn't get my...
It's just one of those, it's not Monday, it's almost Friday.
I know.
You just don't know, yeah. Southwest, Southeast, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams is coming up next.
And remember, join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a great night.
Good night.